Zoom meeting of the Bowmanville Rotary Club. My first as president, so let's see how many times I could make a mistake this morning. So welcome, first of all, to our guests. We have Mayor, or is it Lord Mayor, Adrian Foster. His trusty aide, Heather Kaisers, is here as well, along with our bursary recipients. I've seen Nancy, Taylor, Brendan, and Zoe, and you'll all be introduced a little more formally later. Lloyd's here, and thankfully I do not have to welcome Peter as a guest, because you're a member now. So, our toasts to Her Majesty the Queen.
Majesty the Queen.
Her Majesty.
To Canada and Rotary International.
Canada and Rotary International.
And then Renee, you have our invocation this morning.
Yes, we do. May we be thankful and excited for the start of a new Rotary year. May we face the challenges and service work before us with new energy and lots of enthusiasm. Support our new president and the board in all they do. May we show respect to all and follow faithfully our four-way test. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. I appreciate the support early in. Our land acknowledgement. We'd like to acknowledge that here in Bowmanville, we are on the territory covered by the Williams Treaty, and that this land is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We offer our gratitude to Indigenous peoples for their care of the land and their teaching is about our earth. Pauline, do we have any birthdays or anniversaries?
Yes, Amy, we have some celebrations. There are absolutely no birthdays. But regarding anniversary, now, new member Peter Kennedy. Peter, did you get inducted on your wedding anniversary last week?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to blame who put our records in the...
Unless you know something that I don't know.
No, I thought you were already demonstrating service above self. We show your wedding anniversary is June 15th, but it's not obviously. Good.
No, it's in December, actually.
Okay. Wedding anniversaries, Reg and Carol are celebrating 42 years tomorrow of married bliss. So congratulations, Reg Preeti and Carol. And for service above self, wow, Wayne Routley has given 40 years of service above self to Rotary, 16 of those to our very own club. So congratulations, Wayne Routley.
Wow.
That's it.
Thank you, Pauline. Wayne, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So we're going to move right into our speaker, and I believe, Steve, you're going to do a little introduction for us?
Sure, I will. This is the easiest introduction ever, right? Because who doesn't know Mayor Foster? You know, he is in his third term, getting ready to run for his fourth term in office as our illustrious mayor. Adrian is known around town not just as a fantastic mayor, but he's eminently approachable. Always has a joke at the ready, even on social media. The memes he sometimes posts are a good way to brighten up your day. If you have an issue, Adrian's ears are always open and always willing to point you to the right team at Town Hall. It's been a pleasure getting to know Adrian, and when I'm given the opportunity, I always brag on him. We have a fantastic mayor. I don't know what else to tell you, right? His lovely wife Deborah is a United Church minister, and there you go. Over to you, Mayor Foster. Thank you so much for joining us.
Steve, thank you. You set the bar awfully high. And when I heard you were doing the introduction, I was a little bit concerned. Heather, I wonder if you can put the slide deck up, and I will. I've got to acknowledge the work that Heather did with this I can tell you I asked staff for information and we got about 45 slides. I'm going to go very quickly because there's a lot of information in this, and then we'll leave time, I hope, for some questions. But when Joe got in touch with me, Joe wants to know how Clarington has fared, how staff has fared, and what it looks like for the municipality on the other side. So I'm probably in the next 3 minutes going to give you all of the information that you want, and then a bunch of stuff that you may or may not want, may not know beyond that. So, you know, how the municipality fared financially, because we do not provide financial or social services, we don't do the buses, with us cutting the rec services out as required, and with significant grants coming from both the province and the federal government, financially, we're actually doing quite well. You worry a smidge as to whether the money is going to the areas that the money needs to go to. But again, the balance sheet is not looking bad. If you look at how we fared staff-wise, true for all of you and for those of you that run businesses, there have been tremendous pressures on staff. And again, particularly our rec staff. A lot of people don't understand that we were focused on our televisions and computers like everybody else to find out what was happening in the next stage. The word pivot has been overused, but our staff have had to pivot on so many different occasions. And I've got to tell you, they did a phenomenal job. While our rec services were shut down, nothing in Clarington shut down beyond that. And as a matter of fact, we retasked a lot of those staff to get things done that should have been done a couple of years ago. Simple things like digitizing records. The other that we had to figure out, true of everyone else, is working from home and then a major organization. And part of the question was moving forward, what it looks like. And I can tell you, we don't know. And most large organizations aren't 100% sure. Some employees are as effective and more effective working from home than they are in the office, but you lose an awful lot of team building in the office. I can tell you, when the post office came up for sale, we were exceptionally interested in buying that, understanding that we would need additional space for staff. A year and a half later, not so much. So the world has shifted in a very, very interesting way. And we have, again, had to deal with exceptional stressors. We were talking a little bit earlier when I speak with a server about how aggressive some customers are. People are tired, people are frustrated. In some cases, people have too much time on their hands. And if you come into town hall, you will see signs that say we have a zero tolerance. And that is a reflection of the frustration. So staff are dealing with individuals that are more aggressive than they would normally be, which you do take home with you. You know, it does impact the workplace. So, you know, it's been interesting. It's been satisfying and difficult all at the same time. And I would like to tell you that we have a clear vision forward. You know, we don't, and I don't think anyone truly does. I will stop to say there's a significant difference between the lower tiers like Clarington and the upper tier municipalities like Durham Region. So I've noted that, you know, we've done quite well financially for the upper tier municipalities that have carriage of transit systems, social services, not-for-profit housing. There have been financial hits. They aren't catastrophic by any stretch of the imagination, but if you can imagine a difference in that portfolio moving ahead, you would appreciate how much more difficult some of the things that they were doing were. So with that, I'm going to get into the presentation, but I think, Joe, that is probably what you wanted to hear, and we'll see how I do with the rest of it. So the next slide, please. So, you know, you've heard me liken the municipality to a swan, and this is particularly true of what has gone on in the last year and a half. And you see this graceful creature gliding across the water with absolutely no idea how much frantic activity is going on underneath. So for the municipality, this graceful creature with a huge amount of activity that is hidden below the surface. And then it occurred to me that we are in fact talking about government. Next slide, please. And rather than a swan, I was looking for an ugly duckling because we are governments. I'm not sure how graceful any government is, regardless of how hard we try. That looks like you're really angry. We are not an angry organization. I'm going with ugly duckling on that. Next slide, please. And we sort of dealt with that earlier. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of things that Clarington has done and is doing that were specific to the pandemic. So the next one. So one of the things that council tried to do, and again, you are going to hear me talk about staff on a regular basis. Clarington was the first out of the gate with this. A number of other municipalities picked it up, but community improvement plan, and we are coming back with a different iteration of this plan, but for businesses that needed a bit of help, particularly around the protective, I'm going to say equipment, not necessarily PPE. We were trying to get somebody out. We had a first intake. The rules were too difficult. Council is very concerned that we give money to people who don't need money. When you do that, sometimes people who do need money don't get the dough. But if you know a business that has been struggling, they really should be reaching out to the planning department and asking with the CIP. There are resources online that there may be some grants available from the municipality for them. Next one, please. Outdoor patios. So again, and nothing new right across the province. We have expedited that process as much as possible. There are changes that need to be made. We actually started that in 2018, so we were a little bit early. we were early, and we were lucky that we were early on that. Next one, please. Oh, that wasn't the slide I thought I had. The rec complex, if you looked at the vaccinations. So Durham region, there were some concerns with the how the vaccinations were rolling out in Durham. Durham was middle of the road. We weren't first. We certainly weren't last. They set up their own process for online registration as opposed to waiting for the province, which ended up being a great decision. And Clarington and Pickering were the very first to have the clinics moving ahead. Next one, please. And this is one that we're looking for. So a community funding program. Again, the groups that you are working for, we recognize that a lot of the charitable organizations have absolutely been hammered. We had one intake on that, so there is funding available through the municipality for some of the charitable groups to try to help them get through. And we could not, and this applies to you as well, if the region or the municipality had to take on everything that service groups and charitable organizations do, we would be utterly flat on our feet. It just could not happen. Next one, please. Something else that we should be really proud of, and this is the Board of Trade. So while staff in Clarington were engaged and involved, the Board of Trade in the province, the COVID rapid testing for businesses, again, one of the very first out of the gate. For those of you that are volunteering with the Board of Trade, for those of you who know them and are taking advantage of this, please thank them. It was really quite impressive how that came together, came out. And again, remember our tagline used to be leading the way. Well, the Board of Trade on some of the things that they've done certainly leading the way. Next one, please. Spoke of mental health. So one of the initiatives that we've undertaken, and this is led for staff, our mental health matters, not myself today. So we have made a real push within the organization to have individuals speak to the challenges that they are having and that they have had. I can tell you it is so deeply humbling to hear people share stories, the courage that they have in sharing those personal stories, how they have persevered, and how we need to change the stigma around mental health. We've had a number of sessions that way, and I'm constantly blown away. And again, the word courage, and if you think about it, it is courage that people are opening up their personal lives in an effort to help other people. It just awesome. Next one, please. And then, something good that came out of that, and while we had the technologies with Zoom meetings, team meetings, is we set up regular meetings with the MPs, MPPs, the Board of Trade, and these things sort of come in waves as the waves came. But chatting with the BIAs on a regular basis, hearing what was going on with the business groups, looking for ideas on what we could do better, because business knows business better than we do. The charitable organizations, you guys know what you need more than we do. But there has been a very interesting dynamic. I've participated in a number of conferences that would never have happened but for Zoom, but for Teams meetings, and that will carry forward into the future. So not all is bad. Next one, please. And again, the Clarington Board of Trade, if you look at the surveys, we've heard from the pandemic that, while we are all in the same storm, we are not in the same boat. Again, I would encourage you to reach out to the Board of Trade. Some businesses, as you know, have done exceptionally well. And there are some surprises in terms of the businesses that have done exceptionally well. I had a chat from a fellow who was going to provide services at cost to the municipality. I won't say who because he is highly identifiable, but not in a million years would you have guessed that this individual would have had the best year ever, in his life. Others we know, if you're looking at my hair right now and the hair of many of us out there, restaurants, bars, anyone in the service industry, some businesses are struggling, some businesses are no longer with us. But the Board of Trade surveys indicated the number of businesses that thought it would take a year, to get back to normal, 6 months, how many wouldn't get back to normal. And it was really interesting to see the resilience in our community. So again, a shout out to them. Next one, please. So that's was a bit of a view in the background. And I talked about this frantic activity below the surface. So despite a pandemic, things had to carry on. So the regular business of the town had to carry on. And even without a pandemic, we had a really, really busy year. So Clarington, the first municipality working with the Ability Center to do a lead initiative. And this is looking at accessibility and inclusion. So people, people that have physical challenges getting out. We are working directly with the Ability Center, with if some of you are familiar with LEAD. And we're the first one up to the plate on that. That is going to be really, really interesting. So a new initiative, brand new initiative coming to the table. Next one, please. Our corporate climate action plan. So we came out with that in the past year. As a matter of fact, we were recognized last night for having met a couple of key targets on that, and apparently we were recognized for two key, I'm going to say, goalposts that we have managed to get past, and there are two more that we've already done on that. But that is a significant document, again, online, with a longer term focus on things that we have direct control of. So while politicians and councils like to talk about a lot of things, we need to focus on the outcomes that we can accomplish. And that's what this is all about. Next one, please. Some of the things that you're aware of, you might do a little skip right to the next one. You know, the Bowmanville Valley Creek extension, there have been a number of things that we're doing on the rec side, but you know, getting under the bridge and allowing people to get to the lake. And you know, that valley, which was literally a dump decades ago, an absolute jewel, and many of you have been directly involved in that, whether the community knows it or not, just an amazing asset for us. Next one, please. Newcastle Skatepark, I'm pretty sure that Steve K will be on that on a regular basis, but that is moving forward. If you have never watched kids on a skateboard park, you need to do it. They fall off, they smack themselves on the concrete. It would kill any of us, and they just get up and do it all over again. And it really, really makes you feel old when you do that. But anyway, and you cringe a little bit. Next one, please. The Orono Town Hall. So we access some funding from the feds on that. But we've made the Orono Town Hall accessible. And again, if you have not been up to that town hall or the event there, it is absolutely gorgeous. It is one of the very historic buildings, but significant improvements there that anyone, if they have mobility issues, can now get into the town hall. As you can see from the front, the mobility obviously doesn't happen at the front, but an elevator and access at the back of the building. Next one. This has been around for a while, but I threw it in because we're very frustrating. If you see graffiti, report it, please. We're trying to get a handle on that. Drives you absolutely nuts. And I'm not ignoring completely the fact that we just showed you the Bowmanville Creek extension with all kinds of graffiti right there. Next one, please. And if there was not enough going on during a pandemic, we did a significant reorganization of the municipality. So for those of you, who are paying attention, we have had a significant change in our executive team, the C-suite, if you will. So many retirements, there are many new faces. I know that any of these individuals, if you'd like them to come and present to Rotary, you know many of them very closely. And if you haven't heard, I'm going to suggest that everyone that you see on this slide is probably within the last 4 years. Gord Weir at the end of the month will be retiring after a long career in fire services. And what you don't know about Gord is the amount of work that he does with Durham Region and his role in coordinating things across Durham Region. So we will miss Gord deeply. If you see him, wish him well. And if you want to be even nicer, offer him a beer on a patio and he will take you up on it. Next one, please. Going on in the background, you're well aware of the Lake Ridge Health, the redevelopment. The big news on that, if you didn't follow, is Durham Region committed $37.5 million to that. That is the largest single commitment that Durham Region has made to any project. The province is moving ahead with that. We are delighted. There's some money for a study to, again, it's the next step in that. We see it in the capital forecast. Well overdue. And speaking of overdue, next one. Oh, next one is the helipad, which should be back come the fall. So I don't know if you're aware, the helipad was shut down. There were some very serious safety issues. The residents in the area, unfortunately, got hammered on social media. But with the bigger helicopters with greater thrust, we had 4x4 snapping, insulation being sucked out of houses. The residents have been fantastic, but we will have a temporary helipad being relocated so the orange service coming back to Clarington, which is just so important. Next one, please. Hospice. They had hoped to break ground right about now on hospice with the increasing cost of building things. They have delayed that to the fall, but they will be breaking ground in the fall. They are still working on the fundraising. Again, the inflation that we're all struggling with has hit them, but they are so very close. Another wonderful, great news story. Next one. You may or may not be aware that on Highway 2 at Maple Grove, where the big police station is, Durham Region is moving ahead with part 2 of that. I don't think we have any retired police officers, so we may want to build a donut shop. They laugh when I say that, we're allowed to. No, a significant development moving forward. Again, regional investment here. So we'll be good to see that move ahead. Next one. I know I'm going really fast, guys, but I don't want to bore you to tears. So we talked about, again, that swan, and you think of the activity. If you look at the right-hand side of the chart, you'll get a sense of how crazy things have been. So residential building permits up 239% 2020 over 2019. But I won't go through all of those, but you know, it has just been crazy. So if you look at total values, that last one, 130 million, and in 2020, 398 million. Staff are struggling to keep up. Talk to a developer and they will let you know how difficult it is. Next one, please. So Leah should probably be talking about this, but not me. Darlington Nuclear, again, that is moving ahead. Darlington was recognized for the work that they did on the refurbishment. You know, and if you've forgotten, that is $12.9 billion that is being spent right in our backyard, and they are doing a phenomenal job at that project. Of interest is they are building the capacity to create medical isotopes moving forward. So we will be in the medical isotope business in Clarington, which is a really neat file all in its own. Next one. I think you're all aware of the new OPG headquarters that are coming, and hopefully we will be able to share with you some of the concepts. I've seen them, and it's one of those things where I've been sworn to secrecy, and they are not nailed down. But the headquarters, exactly what you think of a major community-oriented organization, a significant number of high-paying, excellent jobs coming right to our community. As a matter of fact, this is one of the largest economic development opportunities that Clarington has ever seen. And we will be looking at who are the businesses that need to be as close to OPG as possible. So for all of those suppliers, that supply chain, we've got the energy park that is going to be built out. They're on the target list in Durham Region, which owns a significant chunk of land down there. We'll be making some significant improvements. So that is really, really exciting. Next one, please. And immediately kitty corner to that, you may or may not know, we have the Canadian headquarters of East Penn. So they are consolidating locations in Ajax and Pickering. That's over 200 employees. They do batteries. So you may or may not know it, but the battery you bought from Canadian Tire or Walmart, or maybe a little Duracell battery, is really an East Penn battery, and they do everything from AAA batteries to batteries that do backup supply for cell towers. Really, really interesting business. Next one. Go Train Extension. So we heard that they are doing the boreholes, which is something tangible. I would like to tell you that this file is going swimmingly. We seem to be hitting some bumps in the road on that. So a lot of work is going on this. This is like Groundhog Day. We will keep you posted on that. But one of the significant issues is the province is looking for private enterprise to build the train stations. The price tags that they've been given have been huge, and there is just not, with the information that we have and they have today, there's just not a business model that will allow them to move forward on that. And second last slide. So a pessimist sees a dark tunnel, an optimist sees light at the end of the tunnel, a realist sees a freight train, and the train driver sees three idiots standing on a train track. And I would suggest that sometimes we need to focus on the outcome as opposed to our personal opinions of things. So that is the dubious words of wisdom that I will leave you with today. Outside of a next one, a big thank you for this. I look forward to doing this in person. It is so much more fun than doing it this way. And I hope that you got what you needed. And if there is time, and if there's not time, kick me off the stage. But if there's time for questions, please. And for that matter, you don't need to do them here. You can pick up the phone and call.
Thank you very much, Adrian. I appreciate your time this morning, and Heather too. We can't forget Heather. We have maybe a couple of minutes if there's a question or two. Wayne?
Yes, Adrian, you mentioned the world's shifting, and I noticed on social media this morning that Durham Region has canceled Canada Day. Could you expand on that a bit? I'm having some difficulty with this.
So we're I'm going to say the festivities have been canceled for Canada Day, not Canada Day itself. The focus that we're having right now is that, Canada Day, while it's here, while it's holiday, that, this year we should be taking the time to reflect. And I'm going to suggest that the most poignant example that we are getting is if you knew that a next door neighbor had suffered a terrible loss, would you throw a party on that? And that is the attitude that we're taking. So, a different flavor. There are many things that we are rightfully proud of Canada for, but this is part of our history that I think we need to acknowledge. We've been told about this for years and years, and many of us not really acknowledged it, and it's difficult not to acknowledge it. If we believe in the truth and reconciliation, I think we need to admit the truth moving ahead. That's something that Clarington, we've actually done we've started a path of, education on Indigenous history. I can tell you, true of anything, I had no idea how ignorant I was until I started learning. And if you have an opportunity, I would really encourage you to, it's fascinating. It's not all negative. But my ignorance was wide and deep and continues to be.
Thank you.
Jennifer, did I see your hand up?
Yes. Is my mic on? Okay, good.
Yep.
The question is about the redevelopment, further development of the energy park. We know that, or at least I know, that Covanta has the steam loop capabilities coming off the stack of the Durham York Energy Center. Utilizing that steam loop technology could reduce the carbon footprint of a lot of those industries that are potentially moving in down there. Is there a plan with Durham Region to enact the steam loop and to build out the steam loop to provide that service to the additional companies that are going to be building down there?
Complicated answer, but I'm going to try to. So the quick answer is yes, that we are looking at that. And if you look at that area, the amount of waste heat is massive. So heat energy, the amount of energy that is again being wasted. A bit of history, and Jennifer, I think you know the history. When the energy from waste facility was built, the ability for district heat was built into it. Durham Region at the time was terrified of Covanta. And insisted that they could not do district heat and make the the electrical generation targets, that too much heat would be taken off. Covanta insisted that it wasn't the case. We have a new leadership team at Durham Region that are revisiting that now. So we will be taking a look at that. Yes. So progress.
I have a follow-up, if that's okay, Amy.
Last one though, because we've got an important thing coming up.
Okay, I promise. So this goes back to all things environment. The question about district heat reducing the carbon footprint is important, but also equality and equity is important along the industries along the lake, and the emissions from St. Mary's are not being considered in the same way that the emissions from the Durham York Energy Center are. And I was wondering if there's any push by council to have the emissions from St. Mary's further acknowledged and reviewed by the Ministry of the Environment.
So two parts to that. You're correct, and the way the rules work, and these are provincial rules. St. Mary's, if they have an exceedance or NOx or SOx, can take an overall envelope and borrow from St. Mary's, Ontario. We are currently in front of the Ministry of the Environment with concerns that St. Mary's Cement is offsetting some coal pet coke fuel burning with plastic film. So some waste materials that cannot be recycled. And it's not new, it's not unusual, and we are not panicking about that. But the province gave them a license to do this based on one set of fuel, and did the studies. And now a modification to that set of fuel is in, and they will carry on. And our point is, you should have done the studies on the fuel that they are ultimately using. So we are in front of the ministry now. We should have notice within the next couple of weeks to see if the ministry is giving us leave to appeal that. We are at the ministry's mercy entirely on that. And you're right, there is as much as the EFW unfortunately takes a lot of grief, the emissions and emissions restrictions on that are pretty significant versus what a cement plant does and can't do. And don't get me wrong, the alternative fuel is not necessarily a bad thing. Coal and pet coke is not the most wonderful stuff on the planet, but it would be nice to know, to be sure.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you again, Adrian. I'm sure there's a lot more questions. As he said, give him a call. Maybe take him out for a beer on a patio.
Oh, I like the way you think.
Adrian and Heather, you're more than welcome to stay on the call with us if you'd like. I know you guys are busy. I know what your life is like, but we do have important new business to take care of. We have 5 graduating students who are going to be receiving bursaries. So again, thank you to Adrian and Heather. And now I'd like to turn it over to Lloyd, who is going to introduce our students. And also Kaylee is now joining us. So welcome, Kaylee. And also I wanted to say good morning to Kim from our summer squad. Okay, Lloyd.
Thanks, Amy. So I'll keep this short. I mean, most of us know about the bursary program, but just to recap quickly. So each year, Rotary provides $1,000 bursary to one student from each of the 5 schools in the Clarington region that are part of our program. And the school nominates a student, and the student goes on to use that investment to further their educational career and their goals. And so we're really pleased today to welcome our 5 bursary award winners for this year. And I'm just simply going to say your name, guys, and just introduce you by name and by school. And if you could just tell us a little bit about where you're going next year and what your plans are, that'd be super. And there's 5 of you, so we'll have to roll through it a little bit quickly, but here we go. So first up, from Durham Christian High, Taylor Stevens.
Hello, so my name is Taylor and I just graduated from Durham Christian High School. I live in Port Perry, but I'm planning on attending Wilfrid Laurier University for social work in the fall. I'm very excited to go there, and I'm going to be living in residence, so I'm excited to meet some new people. And I've known that I want to be a social worker since grade 7, as I mentioned also in my essay, because I love interacting with other people, and I think that the position would be a very good fit for me. Through my own experiences, especially in high school, I've realized that many children and teens need some extra care and guidance. And during my time at Laurier, I hope to learn more about that, so that I can be a successful social worker. I would like to work at either Children's Aid, a hospital, or a school after my total of 5 years of schooling, as I plan to obtain my 4 years in Bachelor of Social Work and then go for my master's for my last year. I'd like to thank all of you guys for this awesome opportunity and receiving this bursary, and I'm very thankful for all you. I hope that's enough.
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks so much. And from Bowmanville High School, Brendan Robbins.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brendan Robbins. I am graduating from Bowmanville High School. I am going into Trent Durham for journalism and mass media. During high school, I was very, very interested in the arts. I originally was a very big science person, but over time I got a little bored with that, and I became more and more interested in helping brighten everybody's day up just a little bit more, because I always found that some people were putting in the work, but everyone seemed a little bored, and I, tried to bring it upon myself to help bring the energy and help bring everybody's day just a little bit higher. And I actually got like a school job pretty much basically as the news person for the announcements and such, and I really quite enjoyed that. So I decided that I wanted to take journalism as my sort of like bachelor major, so that I can hopefully get into some sort of work in the news and maybe continue putting on a performance for more people in the future. If anyone had any questions, I'll be happy to answer. I'm also very thankful and grateful to all of you at the Rotary Club for giving me this bursary. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brendan. Thanks so much. That's awesome. We'll have some time maybe for questions at the end. Folks want to hold on. That'd be great. And from Clarington, we have Kaylee Duff.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Kaylee Duff, and I'm going to Durham for public relations and strategic communications. Ever since I was a young girl, I always had a passion for writing and communicating, and I displayed some pretty advanced qualities in that sense. My mom would always tell me, "You're a really good communicator. You should go into and follow a path that embraces communications and some type of writing skill and communicating." I always kind of brushed that off. And then as I got older and started to look at career opportunities, I kind of realized that this is something I'm super passionate about, being in the public eye, communicating with others, writing, persuading. It's definitely been something that I've always enjoyed, and only recently realized that it's something I want to pursue. So I intend to go to Durham, and after that, I would like to bridge to Ontario Tech to take their digital communications program, so that way I can have a degree and a diploma. And I'm hoping to minor in history just to keep my options super open. I know, yeah, it's a perfect plan. I know it might not necessarily go with the whole scene, but I also love history a lot. That was my original plan. But I'd like to say, just like all of the other recipients, I'm very grateful for this as well. I think that, the giving back to the community and to students who need extra help to boost and achieve their dreams is amazing. And I wanted to say that I'm just so thankful and grateful for this. And also, I sincerely apologize for my bad Wi-Fi. We just got new cable, and that's sort of what I was setting out. Got the email after everything came back on, was feeling so terrible, but I'm here now. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. So sorry about that.
Thanks, Kaylee. That's great.
You're welcome.
Kaylee, I did history and I work in PR comms, so you're on the right track.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Over to Zoe Smith from St. Stephen's.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so my name is Zoe Smith. Next year, I'm attending Queen's University in Kingston for their Con Ed program. And for those of you who aren't aware what that is, it's basically a 5-year program where you have a major, but then you're also working towards achieving your teaching certificate over the course of those 5 years. So instead of doing 4 years and then teachers college, it's all like integrated together. So I'm going to be majoring in health studies and then also working towards achieving my teaching certificate. And this is like the best of both worlds for me because I've played many sports my whole life, and I'm a big advocate for like healthy living and being physically active. So health studies it's kind of like a branch off of kinesiology where you look into, but it's more like the advocating for the healthy living rather than the science of it so much. And then for the teaching aspect, I've taught swimming lessons with the municipality for the past 2 years, and I also work in the summer as at an outdoor pool as a swimming instructor. So teaching has always been in my life. My parents are teachers. I teach swimming lessons, so I've been exposed to it my whole life, and I absolutely love working with younger kids and being a good influence on them. And the long-term goal is definitely to be able to teach abroad. I'm super keen on teaching in Europe. I think would be the coolest thing ever. And just like all the other recipients, I would just like to express my gratitude and say how thankful I am to be receiving this bursary. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Zoe. I also did Queen's Ed, so great program. There you go. And last up from Clark, Nancy Pham.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nancy Pham and I'm graduating from Clark High School. In the fall, I'm also going to Queen's University, so there's that, for life science. So what I want to do in the future is go into the medical field to be a type of doctor and hopefully get into medical school along the way. So right now I'm thinking about going into anesthesiology, but I'm keeping my options open based on what courses I like when I'm completing my bachelor's. So originally I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know where I wanted to go with my life. So I thought about what subjects I liked in school, and I liked biology, chemistry, and all that. And I do also like helping people. So putting them all together, I just went into the medical field. My parents were like, go wherever your heart desires, go where your gut tells you. And yeah, I just want to try to make the world a better place. So I'm just going to try to go into the medical field, even though it's really competitive, and see where that takes me. So I would also like to thank everyone here for this opportunity. And yeah, I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. I know it's early, but we really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us and telling us what you're up to. I think I speak for everybody here when I say our biggest hope for you is to just have a normal university experience, that they go through your 4 years, that it's uninterrupted, that you get great classes, great time, getting to know your fellow students, and just an awesome university experience. And from the sound of things, you are all looking to make a huge community impact at some point in your career and in your lives. And so we hope that maybe, this experience of just meeting with all of us at Rotary inspires you later on in your career to maybe think about how you can give back to your community and perhaps think about joining a Rotary Club in the future as well. So thank you so much, folks. It's just a real pleasure to meet all of you, and thanks again.
Well done. Congratulations to all of you. It's been a very challenging year and a half for you guys, but to come out ahead, you guys are going to be great. As Joe said, our future is in good hands. You'll notice in our agenda that I skipped over Happy Bucks just because I wanted to make sure we had enough time for our students. We do have maybe a couple of minutes if there's any Happy Bucks before we do some announcements.
Lloyd is the guy.
I have one. I have an,
Okay.
I have an enthusiastic one. And this is for our students on the call too. So because the year was so lousy, our company is actually offering $1,000 Air Canada travel voucher to students in grade 12 who want to go somewhere in the world and just have a normal travel experience. So if you're interested in that, on our website, I think, or on social media, you can find an application. And it's open to all students in grade 12 across Canada. All you have to do is tell us where you want to go, and we pick a winner. So just letting you know.
Zoe, that seems right up your alley. Yes, Joe.
Yeah, on Friday, we got a call from my wife and I, from our regular haircutter, saying how happy she was and saying, you know, we're opening up and you guys want to make appointments, which was really great. I'm so pleased that she called us because she's also a friend. And so we're finally getting our hair done this week. So I'm pretty happy about that. And what I'm even more happy is the fact that they can now go back to work and make a living, because I know it's been really tough on them and so many other people here in Clarington and everywhere. So my happy buck and my toast to their future.
Yeah, tell me about it. Any other happy bucks? I'm trying to scan. Hey, Camille. Okay, so I do have a couple of announcements. I'm going to try and make them quick to keep within this hour. It's that time of year, guys. Dues are due. No pun intended. As of this morning, 37 of the 51 have already paid their dues. You know, you've got options. You can do the installment or the full year. As I mentioned to Steve, trust me, the president will pay today. She's on it. So now we'll be up to 38 of our 51. So yeah, so if you can look after that. Also, Happy Bucks. So we've done Happy Bucks all year. A lot of people have given Happy Bucks. It's time to give your money. So if you can, if you want to drop it off or get in touch with Steve or I, yeah, so if we can sort of collect on some of our Happy Bucks. We're hoping, Steve, we're going to reschedule the beach cleanup for as soon as we can. Of course, I think you jinxed yourself when you canceled it because then the weather was fine, but hey, what are you going to do? And of course, the beach cleanup was part of the district conference, which I'm hard to tell how many of us were actually on that call because I couldn't see who actually was. It was phenomenal. It was great. Steve, we need to get you a new suit apparently because Evan's got you. Oh man, hurt my eyes when he first got onto the screen. So yeah, so it was great. You know, Valerie was inspiring. You know, Evan was great. Gave us lots of things to think about. They did want us. I want to also mention to everybody that the 2022 district conference dates are May 13th to 15th. It's in Oshawa this year, so we have no excuse to not be there in good numbers. The fees are $2.99 a person for the weekend. That includes, I think, 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and a dinner, I believe. If you sign up before September 1st or the first 100 people that sign up, it's $249. The theme is Be a Driver for Change. There's going to be some people from GM talking about their upcoming electric cars, if I heard Ron Dick correct. But the registration is open for that. So May 13th to 15th of 2022. My last announcement, I don't know if anybody else had any announcements. I will just check. I don't think so.
John Burns.
John? Yep, John.
Yeah, on the subject of district conferences, I know it's a little while away before my district conference, but there's a lot of planning goes in, and I need to set up a committee. And that committee normally consists of people with experience from district, but also members of my own club. So have a think about it. I'm going to look for volunteers from you guys to help me with my district conference. That's it, Amy.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say
should I-
Kim.
Hi, should I introduce myself? So I think I met quite a few of you last Thursday at our meeting, but my name's Kim, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a member of the summer squad. So I just wanted to give a little update on what we've been doing. Well, we have a short week this week, which is amazing. So we're definitely going to take advantage of those 3 days and really get as much planning as we can. I think probably within the next few weeks, check out the Instagram and the Facebook pages, because we'll be updating quite a bit on the events that we're actually running throughout the summer. So keep an eye on that. That'll be really interesting. But I think that's really the biggest update from us, is that we're just working hard, and yeah, we're just really excited to be a part of this amazing community.
Yeah, your motivational Mondays are great.
Yeah, we love doing all the Instagram posts. Great.
Yeah, you guys are doing fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, so one last announcement. We've had a couple of club roster changes that I just wanted to make aware. Yesterday, Ross Metcalf was made an honorary member of the Bowmanville Rotary Club. So we're thankful to keep him in our club, and it's the last we're going to see of somebody for a little while. So we just wanted to remind everybody that Barney and Lyle are both taking a 6-month leave of absence. So Lyle, we'll miss you on our calls in the morning and with your big headsets, and but we're 6 months. That's all you get.
I'll be popping in every so often.
Good. Good. Glad to hear it. Yeah. So I don't see Mike Bourgeois on the call.
Oh, Mike DeRoche gave me his quote.
Or Mike DeRoche, sorry.
I can do it for him.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay. It's a little long because it's a preamble. Years ago, anthropologist Margaret Mead was asked by a student what she considered to be the first sign of civilization in a culture. The student expected Mead to talk about fish hooks or clay pots or grinding stones, but no. Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur, a thigh bone that had been broken and then healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You cannot run from danger, get to the river for a drink, or hunt for food. You are meat for prowling beasts. No animal survives a broken leg long enough for a bone to heal. A broken femur that has healed is evidence that someone has taken time to stay with the one who fell, has bound the wound, and has carried the person to safety and tended to the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, Mead said. And here's a quote: "We are at our best when we serve others. Be civilized," by Ira Bayak.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike via Steve. So I'm still trying to figure out how I want to end our meetings. I know we can all do things a little differently. So I was inspired on the weekend at the district conference with Valerie and Evan, and, Valerie kind of, wanted to make sure that we knew that, we need to take care of ourselves so we can take care of others. And one thing I took away from Evan is the quote. He says, "We help people. That's what we do." So today I'm going to end, in order to give of yourself to others, you must first have something to give. So enjoy life, have fun, and be good to yourself. So with that, if there's nothing else for the good of Rotary, there's my first one in the books, guys. All right, thanks very much.
Well done,
And,
Amy.
Well
That's
done,
excellent.
Amy.
Good job, Amy.
and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Well done, Amy. Thanks,
Thank you.
Steve.